Previously, I made a video based on Pokemon Stadium's Pika Cup and how many Pokemon were eligible for it, and now a semi-sequel of sorts has arrived for Generation 2. Pokemon Crystal introduced a now infamous Battle Tower to the series. However, this original incarnation was different from what we've come to know and this one allows you to use any of the then 251 Pokemon, including Mewtwo, Mew, Ho-Oh, Lugia and Celebi. But because this was back before they apparently had the ability to temporarily lower your Pokemon's level to 50 for the battles, this Battle Tower only allows you to enter teams with levels in increments of 10, 100, 90, 80 and so on, all the way down to 10. This is even lower than the level 15 to 20 requirement for the Pika Cup, and as such you'll probably write off even more Pokemon from having any chance of entering. Well, that's where this video comes in. I'm curious to find out the exact number and use almost all means necessary to do so. But before we get started, I'd like to set a few rules and guidelines. Firstly, and most obviously, no alterations through the use of cheat devices will count. I don't think I need to explain why. Any Pokemon that can be obtained at least level 10 will be considered eligible, but I'll try to find them all at the lowest levels possible. This time, any game from Generation 1 and 2 is allowed to be considered in order to fulfill my goal. This is because Generation 2 was clearly designed with Generation 1 connectivity in mind, since some Pokemon cannot be obtained in Gen 2 at all otherwise. Pokemon that can only be obtained at level 10 through the use of glitches will not count. I'd rather not count anything that wasn't meant to be in the game to begin with. And one final note before we begin. With the addition of breeding in Generation 2, it's now easy peasy to obtain any first stage Pokemon from a line that can breed. Just stick them in the centre with Ditto, then hatch the egg to get said Pokemon's first form at level 5? It's just been born, yet it's a higher level than some Pokemon you find in the wild? Try not to think about it too much. Anyway, for any Pokemon that can be obtained this way, I'll just pass over them quickly with breed it before moving on to the next form / Pokemon. Got it? Alright then, let's go! Just like before, I'm lumping all the Kanto starters together because it's the same deal for all of them. You can get all of their first stages at level 5 or 10 either as starters in red, blue and yellow or breeding them, but all of their second forms evolve at level 16 and into their final forms in the 30s. So if you're the sort to rely on your starter too much, you're going to have to venture out of your comfort zone if you want a strong team in the level 10 Battle Tower. Breed it. Caterpie evolves into Metapod at level 7 and Metapod into Butterfree at the magic number of 10. No issues there, but if you really care about getting the Butterfree at a lower level, then you can find them at level 7 in Kanto Route 2. Breed it. As the counterpart to the Caterpie line, it's the same deal with Weedle and its evolutions. Nothing more to say. Breed it. You can find Pidgeotto at level 9 in the Vividian Forest in yellow, a full 9 levels lower than when Pidgey evolves. But with no wild Pidgeots at all and Pidgeotto not evolving until 36, Pidgeot is completely ineligible for the level 10 Battle Tower. Breed it. Before Gen 1, the lowest level you could find a Raticane was at level 15 in yellow, but if you thought that was crazy, Crystal goes above and beyond. You can now find them as low as level 6 in Kanto Route 1 at night in that version. What kind of crazy experiments could be going on around that area that caused this massive blight against nature? Professor Oak, do you have anything to say about this? Breed it. Well, not far away in Route 22, something equally as ridiculous is afoot. You can find Fearow here at level 7. The only theory I have is that 3 years after the original games, some of the Pokemon on these early routes grew up and evolved, but due to their weak environment, they didn't gain the fighting experience to gain many levels. But then again, that would imply that the entire universe revolves around the player character, which while is true to an extent, it shouldn't have had an effect. I don't know. Breed it. Arbok was ineligible for the Pika Cup, but times have changed. It's yet another early route Pokemon that somehow evolved at a tiny level, appearing in Routes 3 and 4 in Silver and Crystal at exactly level 10. Now that Pichu exists, Pikachu can't be hatched from eggs as it would have done if breeding existed in Gen 1, but fear not. You can simply evolve Pichu from happiness before level 10, but if that's too much hassle, then find a Pikachu at level 3 in Viridian Forest in Red and Blue or level 4 in GSC, then evolve it with a Thunderstone into Raichu whenever you wish. Breed it. Not to be outdone by its snaky counterpart, Sandslash can also make an appearance in a level 10 battle tower. They appear at level 10 in Mount Moon but only in gold. The early area evolution phenomenon continues. Putting all the Nidos together, same deal with them all. First stages, breed them. Second stages, evolve at 16, but appear nowhere at level 10, meaning they and their third forms are ineligible. Drat! Evolve Clefairy from Clefairy before level 10 or catch one at Mount Moon at level 8, then evolve it with a Moonstone to get Clefable. Simple. Breed it. Evolve Vulpix anytime with a Firestone. Even more simple. The third Pokemon with a new baby form. The same deal as the others. Evolve from Happiness before level 10 or catch a level 3 to 5 Jigglypuff in Route 46 in Johto, then evolve it into Wigglytuff. Nothing more to say. Breed it. Why oh why? Golbat appears everywhere, and if anyone had more chance of evolving before they should in the wild, it should have been you, but no. The lowest level you'll find one is 13 in Floor 1 of Mount Mortar in the Crystal version. Why would they make one appear that close to level 10? To tease you? Why does this line of Pokemon always find a way to piss me off? Breed it. Poor Gloom gets the shaft once again. It just missed out on the Pika Cup when Gen 1 was the only one that existed, but now you can find them at level 14 in Kanto Route 24 in Crystal, which just isn't enough for the new level 10 goal. And with no wild Vileplumes at all, it doesn't matter when you use the Leaf Stone on Gloom, neither of them will be eligible. Breed it. No wild Parasects are anywhere close to 10, but this is where the first in-game trade comes to the rescue. When you give a Pokemon away with these, the one you get in return will always have the same level as yours did, which comes in very handy for the Pika Cup and now this new challenge. Breed a Tangela in Gold, Silver or Crystal, keep it below level 10, then send it over to the yellow version and trade it on Route 18 for Parasect. And there you go. Cross-gen trading is so satisfying. Breed it. Venonat evolves at level 31, but that's no concern of mine. Venomoth can be found at level 10 in Kanto Route 24 and 5, but only in Gold and Silver and not Crystal for some reason. Breed it. More cross-gen breeding and trading shenanigans here. Breed a Lickitung in Gold, Silver or Crystal, keep it below level 10, then send it over to Yellow and trade it for a Dugtrio in Route 11. Breed it. Persian fails to make the grade with a low score once again. The lowest level you'll find one is 18 in Kanto Route 7 in Crystal version at night. Good enough for the Pika Cup now, but we've moved on to lower levels and better things, I'm afraid. Breed it. Back in the Pika Cup days, you could find level 15 Psyduck and Golduck by surfing on Route 6, and somehow in the 3 years since, the ducks in this pond have only managed to lower their levels even further. You can now find Golduck here as low as 10, just making the grade. Either it's some weird coincidence or these ducks somehow know what's going on and now I'm scared. Breed it. Primeape, the sorta kinda counterpart to Persian, has fallen to the same fate. The lowest level you'll find him is level 15 in Kanto Route 9 in Gold only, which just ain't good enough. Breed it. Evolve anytime with a Firestone. Next, breed it. Find level 10 Poliwhirl by surfing in Kanto Route 22 or Viridian City in Gold, Silver or Crystal. Then, if you want, evolve it with a Water Stone to get a level 10 Poliwrath. Breed it. The lowest level you can get a Kadabra is 16 when Abra evolves into it. With no wild Alakazams and the only way to get one is to trade and evolve a Kadabra, Single Spoon Guy and Double Spoon Guy will have to stick to level 20 or higher for the Battle Tower. Breed it. Oh dear, just like before, Marchoke gets left out but its evolution doesn't. The lowest level Marchoke you can find are at level 14 in the Rock Tunnel, Gold and Silver only. But Marchamp isn't stuck with the same misfortune. Breed a Cubone in Gold, Silver or Crystal, keep it at level 10 or lower, then send it over to Yellow version and trade it for a Machoke in the Underground Path in Route 5/6. It will instantly evolve into Machamp and you will have a level 10 4-armed monster ready to rock the battle tower, which is obviously better than Machoke anyway, but still, it's one less eligible Pokemon for the final total, which makes me sad. Breed it. Weepinbell is in the same boat as Gloom. The lowest level you can find one is 12 in Kanto Route 24 in Gold or Silver, just 2 levels shy of the all-important 10. So close but no cigar. Both it and Victory Bell won't be showing up in the class of 10. Breed it. Tentacruel, the Golbat of the sea, and they're just as hopeless at defying the impossible and evolving in the wild before they should. The lowest level you'll find them is 20 in various locations, which may have passed the grade in the Pika Cup, but way too much now. Sorry. Breed it. The lowest wild Graveler you'll find is at 23 in Johto Route 45, not even close. If you have the Japanese blue version, you can trade a level 16 Kadabra for one that will evolve into Golem, which still isn't enough. Graveler and Golem are ineligible. Breed it. Someone in Pewter City in Gold and Silver will give you a Rapidash in exchange for a Gloom, but sadly, as we've already established, Gloom's lowest level is 14. On the bright side, Rapidash can finally partake in the Pika Cup if it wants, but I've moved on from that, I'm afraid. Breed it. Slowbro, one of my favourite Pokemon that I forget about when thinking about my favourites. The lowest level they can be found is 15 by surfing on Route 12 or 13 in Yellow. Not low enough now, but thankfully there's an alternative evolutionary choice that may soften the blow. Breed it. For this one, you're going to have to time travel more often than Hero of Time Link or Marty McFly. Pick the reference that you like the best. Breed a Tangela in Gold, Silver or Crystal, then send it to Yellow to get the level 10 or less Dugtrio as detailed earlier. Now send this Dugtrio over to the Crystal version and trade it for a Magneton in the Power Plant. It's a dilemma to pick which level 10 three-headed creature you want to keep. Personally, I'm slightly more partial to Magneton, but it's close. Breed it. Breed it. Oh, now here's one that nearly passed me by, but not quite. Catch a level 10 Dragonair with a Super Rod in Johto Route 45 in all 3 Gen 2 games. Make sure it's female. Then trade it for a level 10 Dodrio in Blackthorn City in the Crystal version. Nifty. Breed it. More magical breeding and cross-gen trading, I can't get enough of it. Breed a Growlithe in Gold, Silver or Crystal, send it over to the Yellow version, trade for a level 10 or less Dugong in the Pokemon Lab. I swear I could get high off this. Breed it. More! Breed a Kangaskhan in any Gen 2 game, send it over to Yellow and trade it for a Muck in the Pokemon Lab. For once, I can be grateful that a Kangaskhan is born as a mother with a baby already in its pouch instead of being weirded out. Why on earth haven't they made the baby Kangaskhan its own Pokemon yet that evolves into Kangaskhan? Its absence had only become even more noticeable after they gave Kangaskhan attention again with its Mega Evolution. Breed it. Breed a Shelder and evolve it with a Waterstone to get Cloyster. Breed it. The lowest level Haunters you'll find are at level 15 in the Rock Tunnel in the Crystal version. With that in mind and no wild Gengars at all, you're stuck with Ghastly if you want a Ghost Poison type for the level 10 Battle Tower. Breed it. Breed it. Hypno can finally make its debut in the Pika Cup once you find one at level 16 in Kanto Route 11 in Gold, Silver or Crystal, but it's just not enough anymore. Breed it. 3 years later and the lowest level Kingle around are still fished up with a Super Rod in Route 25 in Yellow, but 15 won't cut the mustard now. Ineligible. Breed it. Evolve a level 10 or less Pikachu into Raichu, then trade it for an Electrode at the Pokemon Lab in Red or Blue. Same method from the Pika Cup days, still works like a charm. Breed it. Breed and execute, evolve it with a Leaf Stone, done. Breed it. Again with this? Malwark can be found at level 12 in the Rock Tunnel in Crystal, a measly 2 away from the number of the day. Sadly, that means if you want to take advantage of Fit Club, you're stuck with Cubone, but the good news is, you won't have to deal with Fit Club Malwark yourself. Such is the nature of Pokemon. Tyrogue evolves into Hitmonlee, Chan or Top depending on its stats at level 20, a full 10 levels above what you actually want, and none of its evolutions are in the wild at all. Breed it, breed it. Damn, yet another Pokemon that is now eligible for the Pika Cup but misses the mark for the Battle Tower level 10. You can find Weezing at level 16 in the Burn Tower in the Crystal version, which is certainly an improvement over its lowest wild level of 37 from Gen 1 I guess. Breed it. Same deal as Dodrio from before. The Pokemon you receive from the trade in Gold and Silver is Rhydon instead of Dodrio, as was the case in the Crystal version. Breed it. Breed it. Breed it. Breed it. The lowest level Seadra remains 20 by fishing with a Super Rod in Route 13 in yellow. Not good enough anymore, and that means its new evolution can't be level 10 either. Breed it. You can find the world's most boring water type's equally boring evolution at level 10 in Kanto, Route 4 in Gold, Silver or Crystal. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that, I need to keep my personal feelings out of this. Breed it. Breed Staryu. Evolved with Waterstone. Breed it. Breed it. Thanks to Smoochum's existence, Jynx is no longer a stage 1 only Pokemon, but there's a solution. As detailed earlier, you can find Poliwhirl at level 10 by surfing in Kanto Route 22 or Viridian City in Gold, Silver or Crystal. Catch one, then send it to Red or Blue to trade for a level 10 Jynx in Cerulean City. Screw you, Elekid, you cocky little asshole. I don't know why, but I've always thought Elekid was full of itself. It might just be a me problem. But because of it, you can't get Electabuzz at level 10. The lowest level you can get them is at 15 in Kanto Route 10 in the Gen 2 games. Same deal with Magmar and its new pre-evolution Magby. The lowest level you can find of Magmar is 14 in the Burn Tower in Gold and Silver and not Crystal for some reason. Breed it. Breed it. Breed it. The lowest level Gyarados you can find are at level 15 in the Lake of Rage in Gen 2 games, or fishing with a Super Rod in Fuchsia City in yellow. You're stuck using Magikarp instead of the far superior Gyarados for the level 10 Battle Tower, and that is atrocious. Ha ha ha, see what I did there, huh? Oh, just shoot me. Well, on the plus side, I think Gen 2 Gyarados is the worst incarnation of the species. It loses a lot of special attack from Gen 1 and using attacks like Thunderbolt, Surf and Ice Beam were the main reason I loved it so much before. Plus, it doesn't have many good physical attacks at all or Dragon Dance to boost itself. Breed it. Baby. It's the sexy pink blob itself, the hero of the breeding world, the father or mother of too many Pokemon to count. If anyone deserves to enter the level 10 Battle Tower, it's you, and thankfully, you just barely can. Level 10 Ditto can be found in Route 34 and 35 in Gold, Silver and Crystal. Remember when Ditto wasn't anywhere in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, the only mainline game it never appeared in? Those were truly the dark days, and I hope they never ever do that again. You have no idea how much grief it gave me. Breed it. It's easy to assemble a team of evolutions for the level 10 Battle Tower. Breed Eevee, then evolve it however you wish, whenever you wish with the 3 stones. No problem. Breed it. Breed it. Are you mad? You really expect to see an evolved and extinct Pokemon in the wild anywhere? Omanite evolves into Omostar at level 40, meaning you're fresh out of luck if you want to see it at level 10. Breed it. Are you mad? You really expect to see an evolved and extinct Pokemon? Breed it. Breed it. The 3 legendary birds from Red, Blue and Yellow. They cannot breed at all and can only be caught at level 50. You do the math. Breed it. Well, as said 2 times already, you can fish up level 10 Dragonair with a Super Rod in Johto Route 45 in all 3 versions of Gen 2, but unfortunately Dragonite is about as far away as you can get from a level 10 Battle Tower eligible Pokemon, unless you're taking a trip to Alola or the Let's Go version of Kanto soon, since it evolves from Dragonair at level 55. Did I say Dragonite was the least eligible level 10 Battle Tower Pokemon? Silly me, it's this guy of course. Mewtwo isn't banned from the Battle Tower, but there's no way in hell you can get something that's only found at level 70 and cannot breed at level 10. If only these legendaries took a leaf out of Platinum Regigigas' book. I don't know if I should count Mew or not. I remember when I got it years ago, it was downloaded from a special machine at level 5, which is low enough. I'm going to say it's a success, but good luck hunting down those machines today, which is probably as difficult as finding a Mew in the Pokemon world. It's the exact same deal with the Johto starters as the Kanto ones. They all evolved the first time after level 10, then again in the 30s. Only the first forms are getting in, and that's that. Breed it. Sometime between Gen 1 and 2, a family of Centric moved into Kanto Route 1 in all 3 Gen 2 games, including Furret, who fell victim to Professor Oak's horrible experiment and became level 6, 14 levels before a Centric would usually evolve. Who knows how it truly happened, who cares, it's yet another eligible Pokemon. Breed it. Wow, you can find Noctowl as low as level 4 in Kanto Route 2 at night in the Crystal version, one level less than that of a newborn Pokemon. Out of all the sick, twisted things we've been discovering on these early Kanto routes, this might just be the most disgusting of all. I always did think Kanto in Gold, Silver and Crystal had an unsettling atmosphere to it. Breed it. Ledybar usually evolves at level 18, but in Kanto Route 2 in Silver and Crystal in the morning, you may find a level 7 Ledian just waiting for you. Breed it. Same as Ledian, only swap Silver with Gold and Morning with Night. There are no wild Crobats, and none of the wild Gorbats are at level 9 or lower, which would be the minimum required to get a Gorbat to evolve through happiness. Ineligible. Breed it. Chinchou evolves at level 27, the only wild lanterns you can find are fished up with a super rod at level 40, 4 times over the target level. If you want a fully evolved electric water type for the battle tower, you have to stick to level 30 and above, I'm afraid. Breed it, breed it, breed it, breed it. You can evolve Togepi before level 10 if you make it happy enough, but be warned, from what I can remember, happiness evolution took way longer back in Gen 2. I specifically remember going mad when I tried to evolve Golbat and Chansey. Breed it. Natu evolves at level 25, but if you want a lower level Xatu, you can trade a level 15 Haunter for one in Pewter City in the Crystal version, which still isn't enough for the goal, nor can Xatu be sent to Gen 1 and be used for the Pika Cup, but I just thought I'd mention it. Breed it. Mareep evolves into Fluffy at level 15 and Fluffy into Ampharos at level 30. Neither of them are anywhere in the wild lower than those levels, so you're fresh out of luck there, I'm afraid. Why must this game keep reminding me that Gloom is ineligible? Not only did we have itself and Vileplume, we have Bellossom, who is also stuck at level 14. To think, if there was just a way to get a level 10 Gloom, that would be 3 extra eligible Pokemon. Breed it. Evolved at level 18, Azumarill is nowhere in the wild, there's no trade for it or any kind of special gift anywhere. Oh well, it sucked in battle in Gen 2 anyway. Breed it. Phew, it's a good thing Poliwhirl can be found at level 10, or that would be 4 extra ineligible Pokemon. Evolve a level 10 one anytime by trading it with a King's Rock, and you've got yourself a level 10 Politoed. Breed it. Hoppip evolves at level 18 and then Skiploon into Jumpluff at level 27. Neither are found in the wild lower than those levels, ineligible, nothing else to say. Breed it. Breed it. Sunkern, Sunstone, Sunflora. Breed it. Breed it. The lowest level you can find a Quagsire is 15 while surfing in the Union Cave in all 3 Gen 2 games. Why 15 and not 10? I'm starting to think they did this to tease me. Just like its other evolutions, you can evolve Eevee into Espeon and Umbreon before level 10 if it's happy enough. But as I said already, happiness evolution can be such a pain in Gen 2, you need to be patient for these ones. Breed it. And here we have the Slowbro alternative I mentioned earlier, Slowking. Just trade a level 10 or less Slowpoke with a King's Rock and you'll have a Slowking ready for the level 10 Battle Tower. Off topic story time, but in my first playthrough of Gen 2, I planned to use Slowking for my team. The official UK Nintendo magazine at the time insisted that Slowking evolved from Slowbro, even though everything else said it was Slowpoke, causing me to get stuck with a Slowbro instead. I don't know why they were so adamant about this mistake. All their other information about the game was correct. My only guess is that they eventually found out they were wrong, but refused to admit it from shame. Breed it. The semi-legendary and worst Pokemon of all time. You cannot breed it, but you can find them at level 5 in the ruins of Alph. So if you want to conquer the level 10 battle tower with an unknown, you're free to give it a shot. One of the random enemy Pokemon you can fight in the battle tower is an unknown, which is basically a free win. Breed it. Breed it. Breed it. Evolves from Pinecone at level 31, nowhere in the wild. Next. Either breed it or find one at level 4 in the Dark Cave with a 1% chance of appearing outside of swarms. During a swarm, it can be as low as level 2. Breed it. Breed an Onix and evolve it any time by trading it with a metal coat. Simple enough. Breed it. Granbull is yet another evolved Pokemon that appears at level 15 at the lowest in the wild. Kanto Route 6 in the day or morning in Crystal to be specific. Yes, this confirms it, they're doing this to mess with me. Breed it. Breed a Cypher and trade it with a metal coat at level 10 or lower. Sadly, nothing can be done about Sizzle's terrible Gen 2 move pool. It's really hard to return to the old generations for this reason sometimes. Breed it. Breed it. Breed it. Breed it. You can find Ursaring at level 25, just 5 levels lower than its evolution level at 30 and nowhere near close enough to the target. Ineligible. Breed it. Fire/Rock, quite possibly the worst duo type possible in Pokemon. Why oh why are reverse battles not allowed to be played in official Pokemon games? It might give Magcargo some use after all. I wish they wouldn't keep removing all these features that should be standard options in every game. Anyway, sorry about that rant. Magcargo continues to bring me no joy in this challenge as well. Slugma evolves into it at level 36 and it's nowhere in the wild. Ineligible. Breed it. Piloswine doesn't fare much better. Evolved from level 33, nowhere in the wild, ineligible. Breed it. Breed it. Evolved from Remoraid at level 25, nowhere in the wild, Octillery shouldn't be making any appearances in a level 10 battle tower. Breed it. Breed it. Breed it. Breed it. Geez, another one? Gen 2 isn't very kind to its own Pokemon, is it? Houndoom is nowhere in the wild, evolves from Houndour at level 24, it's totally ineligible. Man, it took me ages to get Kingdra, probably because its evolutionary item is in my most hated Pokemon dungeon of all time. There are no wild Kingdras and no Seadras can be found at level 10 either, so no. Breed it. And yet another one. Phanpy doesn't evolve until level 25 and Donphan doesn't appear anywhere lower than that, so that's that I guess. Trade evolve a level 10 or lower Porygon holding an upgrade to get a Porygon 2. Done. Breed it. Breed it. Breed it. Same deal with Hitmontop as with Tyrogue's other evolutions. You can't get it, next. Breed it. Breed it. Breed it. Breed it. Good luck evolving Chansey into Blissey before level 10. It can be done, but it's sure to be very annoying. But it'd be worth it to have the world's most annoying special war on your team. The legendary roaming beasts. None of them can breed, they're all at level 40, you bet your ass they're ineligible. Breed it. Why did they bother adding a level 20 wild Pupitar to Crystal? It's great if you want to use one for the level 20 battle tower, but why would I care about that when something more extreme exists? And as for Tyranitar, forget it, forget it, forget it. Pupitar doesn't evolve until level 55, it's Dragonite all over again. The Mewtwo's of Gen 2, Ho-Oh and Lugia might be found at level 40 at the lowest, but that's still nowhere near close enough to the goal. Ineligible for sure. Like Mew, Celebi was once downloaded from a special machine that may or may not be on this earth somewhere still. Who can say? But in the 3DS version of the game, you can actually get a Celebi from a GS Ball event that was intended to be in the original. It's level 30 though, so it doesn't help. Again, I think I'll consider Celebi eligible. The download machines are goodness knows where, but there's no denying they existed. And that is that. Out of all 251 Pokemon in Generation 2, the number of ineligible Pokemon for the level 10 Battle Tower is 78. Again, just like the Pika Cup results, this is a lot higher than I expected, even with the power breeding on my side this time. Well, I don't think there's anything else like this in the series that could provide a similar challenge, but it might be escaping my memory right now. For the time being, thanks for watching, and may all your bees be my wax.